Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Dara Bunjon. I'm the food enthusiast here at J Moore Living. I want to welcome you to the show. If this is your first time tuning into the Food Enthusiast, I'm a food writer, food stylist, PR maven, and a frustrated baker. You will see me from time to time check my computer because you, as viewers, can send in questions or comments. So I look to make sure that we're getting them covered. And since we're going to be talking holiday tables today, uh, please feel free to send in some food memories, whether they be poignant, whether they be funny. We'd like you to share them at this point with us and join the conversation. Today's guests are Amy Simon and Jared Earley, both from Eddie's of Roland Park, a legendary, award-winning independent grocery in the Baltimore region, known not only for the gourmet and great selection of products, but for their deli, their prepared foods, their gourmet catering, gifts, premium customer service. This is Eddie's of Roland Park. There are two locations, one on Charles Street and one on Roland Avenue. Let's welcome Amy and Jared. Amy is, as director of catering, has, as she put, has hosted 1,000 guest vendors, 1,800 live demos, 4,000 Thanksgiving turkeys over her 12-year tenure at Eddie's of Roland Park. Jared Earley, who, if some of you caught my personal little live video earlier, had stopped by the house and dropped off some goodies, which we're going to show you. But here he is unmasked. Before we were both masked. We were doing good. And Jared is the marketing and PR director for Eddie's of Roland Park, and has a passion for the arts as well. We're going to deal with movies and food and memories as the show comes on. Welcome to you both.
Thank you
Thank
so much for
you.
having
Good to
us.
see you.
Good to see you. I'm going to alternate asking questions. Jared, Progressive Grocer recently recognized Eddie's as an outstanding outstanding independent grocer, as well as featuring Eddie's on their cover on the February issue. Now, Eddie's is a family affair. We're into the second and third generation. And it was just a couple years ago they celebrated their 75th anniversary of being here in Baltimore. Uh, what does the future look like for Eddie? We know we've had success for 75 plus years. What's on the drawing board? What does the future Eddie's of Roland Park look like right now?
That's a great question to start the show. We are here because of our customers and everything we do, from the choices we provide on our menus to the items you find in the store shelves. They're all because of our customers. And one of the things that we're really excited about beginning this year, we're tiptoeing into the starting stages of a grand renovation at our Roland Avenue store.
Oh, really?
Involves, oh yes, it's going to be so exciting. That store has been with the company for more than 50 years, and there's so much character there. There's so many employees who have been with us for decades, and we're just really excited to bring it into the 21st century. And we'll be starting probably not a lot of visible changes this year, but we'll be starting some of those fundamental back of house changes as we work towards about a year's worth of improvements on Roland Avenue. At both stores, we're just excited to expand the services we offer, expand the local foods that we carry, and continue being that place where you can feel like you belong and know that you have input in everything that we carry and what we do.
Well, I know that Eddie's for many, many years has featured local Baltimore producers, Maryland producers. Just the other week, we had Lane Levine on from A Friendly Bread, and you carry his breads and his new crackers. And I used to work for Van Spices, so that goes back way back, and you've been carrying Van Spices. So yes, some great products there. Anything that you want. I mean, it's just a. I was at the Charles Street store and got that shrimp salad sale the other week. It was very good. Amy, you have been at Eddie's for 12 years. What are your responsibilities? I think your background, I know you as a personal friend from years ago. We were just talking before the show. It's 30 plus years that you were running cooking classes, but you have a degree in food science. And you used to be my partner in crime when we would go out and do a restaurant shop.
Yes.
So now 12 years at Eddie's, what are your responsibilities there?
Okay, well, I'm the events coordinator at Eddie's. So for the 75th anniversary that year, I was really busy with all the events. My job is to do like tastings. Sometimes we do book signings. So I plan the events at both stores, and I do oversee the catering. I'm not the catering director, but I do oversee catering and take catering orders for bigger events and also for the holidays, when we get lots and lots of catering orders for the Jewish holidays, also Easter and Christmas. So, and also I help out with new products that are coming in and help coordinate with the kitchen some new products. Having a keen palate, I can taste things and give my input with some of the prepared food.
Well, I know your palate, and Jared and I had joked earlier that you have a passion for Mexican and Southwest flavors. That's always been high on your list.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Jared, Eddie's has always been there for the community, and that's why it has been here for 77 years. And during COVID, the personal shopping service that you offered was a small part of the business. And from what I read in an article, what you did over 6 years, you did in the first 6 weeks when COVID struck, and your personal shopping service blew up. A lot of people were doing the staycation dinners. You had a food drive. Eddie's has been well seated in the community. Let's talk about what has been accomplished during COVID and how you help the community.
Well, you know, on a personal level, one of the things that's been most fulfilling are deepening those personal connections we had with our shoppers. And to give you a little example, you know, as you said, our shopping service went from being a customer convenience to a neighborhood necessity literally overnight. And it became not only all hands on deck, but all ears glued to the phone as we're picking up hundreds of calls per day, all just, you know, looking to make sure that they still had access to good food, healthy food, and prepared dinners during this unexpected event. And folks like Amy, Lorianne, Linda, Candace, all of who've really gotten to know our customers in a different way by talking about, sure, their likes and dislikes and their preferences, but also what's going on in their world. You know, folks that were used to coming to us twice a week and maybe cooking for one or two, suddenly trying to figure out how to sustain themselves for a couple weeks on end, or to meet a certain budget that had been impacted. So it's really been a privilege to be invited into the lives of our customers in a whole new way. I overhear Amy on the phone, not only giving recipe advice, but giving words of wisdom around what's on TV or what's on Netflix. So it's really just been awesome to get a little closer with one another during this time. It's undoubtedly one of the silver linings.
Well, that's what made Eddie so successful. Let's talk about the holidays that are coming up. But we have Arlene Mandel says hi. Let me see. We have Mickey Hess Weber. 2 questions. We have gluten-free family. What are Eddie's gluten-free options for Passover? Also, my family has a tradition of eating egg soup during Seder. Does Eddie's carry ethically, locally sourced eggs that we can use to make our family recipe? She's got some long questions here because it's saying see more. And it's not coming. Okay, that's not coming up. So let's address her question. Let's talk about Passover menus.
Mhm.
And you have Passover in a box. Put that right up there. And Amy,
Yes.
let's talk food and what's being offered.
Okay, so we've got 2 boxes for Passover, both feeding 6 people. So we have the traditional box, Passover in a box, that you get the brisket with gravy, you get matzo balls, you get chicken soup, potato kugel, cauliflower matzah pilaf, which is matzah farfel sauteed with cauliflower, golden raisins, onion, basil, almonds, honey balsamic carrots, which is featuring local Huns honey, and Passover apple cake and coconut macaroons. Now we step it up a notch, and Chef Adam has his deluxe Seder for 6. So again, it feeds 6 people, and the box includes chicken marbella, which is the old silver palette recipe, the Sheila Lukens recipe.
Right, I know that one. That was an award-winning cookbook.
Chicken. Yes, and we do a great rendition of it with prunes, olives, capers. It's a wonderful dish. Sweet chili glazed salmon. You'll get 1 portion, 1 piece, 1.5 pounds of salmon, and you get about 3.5 pounds of bone-in chicken.
They can find all this. They can find this menu online at Eddie's in Roland Park.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, but the deluxe Seder has more items. The savory onion, matzo kugel, eggplant caponata as a starter. Something a little more, gourmet. Parsley boiled peewee potatoes, roasted asparagus, and Passover sweet tray that you have, right there.
Right. Well, let me show the tray.
Well, the tray that you have there has our flourless chocolate brownies, which I think are one of the best gluten-free options on the menu, and the coconut and almond macaroons there, both also gluten-free. So a lot of good gluten-free sweets, as well as the sides and the proteins that Amy had mentioned. And in terms of the Dara, can you repeat what the egg recipe is that the viewer
egg?
eats?
Let's see. Does Eddie's carry ethically, locally sourced eggs that we can use to make family recipe? Eggs in salt water, I'm guessing. I can't see the balance in the question.
Sure. So I know we have free-range eggs from Carriage House Farms, which is just up the street in Stevenson. And then we also carry free-range eggs from Albright Farms in Phoenix, Maryland. And from time to time, we also work with smaller vendors who maybe aren't with us every day of every week, but bring in other eggs in the summertime as well.
Well, I want to tell people that they have Passover in a box, Easter in a box, and that serves 6 people. But they have many a la carte items. So the person who's looking, maybe that Passover in a box, because you can't change the items, is better off buying from a la carte. And they can sit there and take a look at what they have there that is gluten-free and take advantage of that and combine that with whatever their main course might be, whether it be the green beans or your famous honey balsamic carrots. I believe, Jared, you have some there, your security carrots.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
So all this is online, menus. The Easter basket serves 6, which is a ham with a maple glaze, French baby lamb chops with mint jelly, 3 cheese scalloped potatoes, roasted Brussels sprouts, chive corn souffle, 3-pea medley, home-style dinner rolls, coconut cake. And again, there is a la carte items for Easter as well. For the Passover, I think you need 72 hours notice.
Mhm.
And can they just order online or should they call?
It all starts with the conversation. So we invite you to come into the store, speak with the caterer, or just give us a call. And all the information is online, but we prefer to handle those orders in a personal way.
That's great. That's great. And you also have brunch in a box. Is that specifically for Easter or something you do all the time?
So this is something new. Amy and the chefs came up with this great box that kicks off during Easter weekend, but is available weekends throughout April. So as this weather warms up and we all get in the mood to al fresco with some friends outside, it's another package for 6 people.
Right.
Includes everything you need to really kick off. Actually, not everything you need. You need to add the prosecco, but it comes with the fresh squeezed orange juice and all the other brunch favorites to have a really good outdoor spring feast.
Amy, there is some kosher wines for Passover that
Yeah.
you're recommending for pairing.
Well, yes, we recommend the high wines. They're kosher for Passover. I'm going to show you a bottle right here. And this would, can you see this?
Move it over. There we go.
There we go. This is the Emerald Riesling, and it would go great with Chef Adam's Seder for 6 box. It goes great with the chicken marbella, it goes great with the salmon. But also, you know, we have such a selection of wines that if you don't want to have the kosher wine, high is great, but we can also recommend when you're having your brisket to have this wine. And Andrew Schaefer recommended this to me for brisket. This is the Freda Montoni Nero Dovola.
Okay.
There we go.
They can find that or give you a call if they want more details on that. But you do have an extensive wine selection for the holiday, for Passover. Mm-hmm. That's kosher for Passover.
That's right.
You know, to me, I had put out to people talking about the memories of the family table has always been important to me. That's where I felt love. And I'd like both of you, I will turn to Jared first. Any memories, funny, poignant, sad, from the family table, from your holidays? Now, I have to tell people you did express that you want to go to a Seder, that you've been to Rosh Hashanah.
I've been to wonderful Rosh Hashanah feasts. It's one of my favorite food holidays, but nobody's ever invited me to a Seder. So if you're watching and you have an open seat at your table, I'm a vegetarian, but I'd love to join and see what it's all about firsthand. But in my family, both of my parents were cooks. They actually kind of started their relationship working together in a pancake house in Ohio. And my mom is a fantastic cook. My dad is a great griller and sous chef. And so a lot of great meals and memories around the table. But I have to say an amusing one involves chicken pot pie. My mom would find opportunities to put mushrooms in everything. And there were too many mushrooms in my chicken pot pie. And I wasn't allowed to leave the table until it was done. And I remember my family was watching Can't Buy Me Love with Patrick Dempsey in it. And I heard the whole movie, but I wasn't allowed to see the movie because I was sitting 2 rooms away staring at that chicken pot pie. So I now have a lifelong aversion to both mushrooms and Patrick Dempsey due to that chicken pot pie.
Oh, and the mushrooms, I thought you might be, have gotten over that. I love mushrooms. I love the umami that goes with Jared that, being a vegetarian. Amy?
Jared always asks me when I want him to taste something, does it have mushrooms in it? And I get mixed up. Who likes mushrooms? Who doesn't like mushrooms? A lot of people hate raisins too.
Right. But that cauliflower pilaf has a little bit of mushrooms in it, and I do enjoy that. That's delicious.
You know, I always remember around this time, just looking at the notes, what was it called? Was it anything? There was a show on with Richard Lewis and Jamie Lee Curtis. could have been 1989. I dug up the video to refresh my memory. I think it was Anything But Love. Richard Lewis was sort of that
Mm-hmm.
down in the nose, not happy persona. And here's his girlfriend, Jamie Lee Curtis, who's not Jewish, and he brings her to the family Seder. Also at the Seder is his ex-girlfriend. So she's tutoring her what to do about flicking the wine for the sins of the deadly sins, the eggs and salt water. And she whispers to her, she says, and here's what you do. You get the matzah. You're going to lead reading the matzah. You're going to break the matzah off. You stand up and you throw it across the room. I just thought that was the funniest thing. It cracked me up. To those who don't know, you don't throw the matzah across the room. Amy, any particular memories? I remember that your parents loved to go out and dine. They were always out to a new restaurant open. They were there the next night.
Oh, God,
food was an important part of your family.
Mm-hmm.
Any specific memories of your holiday tables?
Well, every Passover, I seemed to channel my grandmother. My father's mother would have a big Seder. She had a galley kitchen, and she would bring out food. Oh, my God. Like we were talking about Babette's Feast earlier. What she did in that galley kitchen, I don't know how she did it, to serve 30 people, everything made from scratch. So every Passover, I think of her as I'm making my chicken soup and my brisket. And it just brings up great memories of her Seders.
Well, mine in particular, I was trying to think back. My mother was a great Jewish cook. The gefilte fish from scratch. She had a mezzaluna. She didn't let them grind it. She would chop it. It was more like a quenelle than it was gefilte fish. It was lovely. The eggs and salt water. But I couldn't remember what she served as the main course. I do not remember brisket from my mother. I called my sister in California yesterday. I said, do you remember any of the main courses? I remember the fish. I remember the chicken soup with the unfertilized eggs when they would get that from the kosher butcher with the matzah balls. I remembered everything but what the main course was. My memory was I was not a good student. They would send me to Sunday school. And since I was the youngest, I had to read the 4 questions. And of course, I couldn't read Hebrew, so they typed it out for me phonetically. But I used to tease, I had a cousin of mine from the South. And I said, I can just imagine, her at Passover going, Baruch atah Adonai. Just my way of teasing her. All right, so we do have some questions here. Let me get to those and see if anybody's sharing any memories, so bear with me. And to remind people that Eddie's delivers to over 75 zip codes. So for Easter, Passover, anytime, I think you need to check Eddie's out. Let's go back here. Okay. Jeffrey Spear saying, considering the longevity of Eddie's, how do you respond to the changing taste and preferences of the younger audience who are on the verge of becoming longtime loyal patrons?
Wow, what a great question. I love that our chefs seem to use our weekly chef specials not as a place for sale items, but as a sort of an experimental board to share, their new tastes and trends. So, this week, for instance, for St. Patrick's Day, they came up with some very special, unique twists on Irish fare. We did Irish egg rolls. We did a coal cannon with smoked local bacon. They really use that as the place to express those new trends, those new flavors, and see what people like. But the nice thing, Jeffrey, is we are small, so you can tell us what you like, and your input really literally has an impact. So whether it's through social media, email, or just over the counter, you can speak to a chef directly. And believe it or not, your feedback as our customer really comes into play big time.
And also, we've got a lot of talent back there in the kitchen, so they are open to suggestions. And lately, we've been incorporating more vegan dishes, because that really reflects a big, part of the population, especially the younger people are more doing like vegetarian and vegan. And we just had a special this week with the avocado chickpea salad that you can have on a sandwich. That's a vegan sandwich. So we do try to stay current.
That's right.
As far as food.
Well, you have been, or else you wouldn't be around for 77 years. Am I correct?
Sure.
Did
well,
I
it
show?
helps the two of the owners are in their young 30s too, right?
Right, that's
so
Nancy's sons.
They keep us popping.
Okay. I don't know if I showed this. I got some sweets. This is the apple cake. I don't want to. Let's see.
And that's
There we
delicious.
go.
I've had it many times.
So we have the apple cake. Jared said, "Did you eat any?" I said, I wanted to keep it in the box so everybody could see how lovely it's presented. We have the sweet tray, the black and white cookies, the macaroons, and the chocolate macaroons, and their flourless brownies. So, hit them up. It's an in-house bakery. Am I correct?
That's right. All of those are scratch made.
Made in house with love. That's what the bag says hanging here on the door.
And I have the caponata. I have the caponata here and the kugel if you'd like to see it.
I'd like to eat it, but yeah, come on.
Yeah, both of these are new recipes.
Okay.
Can you see this?
You have to raise it higher.
There we go. That's the caponata with tomatoes and eggplant and capers. A little bit of honey, I believe, is in there. And it's delicious. So you can have it with matzo crackers or as a topping on grilled seafood. This is fantastic. And then I've got the kugel. I cut a piece here. And that's the kugel that's in the Chef Adam box. Both of those items are in the Chef Adam box.
Okay,
It's
great.
delicious.
So send that over too. You don't have to cook. Just go by Eddie's at any time. I was just so impressed when I went over for the shrimp salad. And they deliver. I don't know if there's a minimum for delivery. Is there?
No minimum.
No.
Yep. We'll deliver one bottle of wine if that's all you want.
Folks, you can't miss out on that. Not at all. Let's see. We have from Sophie Belitas. My mom makes a slow roasted lamb, spanakopita, and lemony potatoes for Greek Easter. I actually bought Eddie's apple cake last year, and everyone loved it. So I got a note back here. It says, I think Dara will be eating very well for the next week. Were I in town, I'd be on the way over for sampling. Feel free to ship a kugel if you have extra. So he's down in Florida, good friend of mine. And just missing a question. Karen Barrick, my Easter memory, my grandma's pan de Pasquale, the Easter bread. I'm bread obsessed. So that's her family memory. And in honor of your movie passion, Jared, he's very much involved with the film festivals. Just to let you know, my sister runs the Palm Desert Film Society, so you should talk.
For sure.
I'm going to ask each one of you, think about it. What is your favorite food movie? So, Jared, you go first.
I think my favorite food movie is probably Home for the Holidays, set during Thanksgiving with Holly Hunter, filmed in Baltimore, actually. There's a beautiful scene where two lovers share Thanksgiving leftovers, kind of open mouth kissing with leftovers in your mouth is kind of gross, but also beautiful intimacy. I don't know. But my favorite drinking movie is The Thin Man. That early William Powell, Myrna Loy flick with a cocktail in every scene. It makes you really thirsty.
And Amy.
Big Night, hands down, with Stanley Tucci, where the two
Delicious.
brothers are waiting for the entertainment to show up, and which never shows up, and they keep cooking and cooking and cooking, and the guests are waiting. And by the way, Stanley Tucci's on a special CNN series, Finding Italy, that's been really wonderful to watch on Sunday nights.
Right, and they picked it up for a new season. But Big Night, I think the funniest scene was the woman who, she got
risotto.
spaghetti, but she got
she
risotto, but she wanted a side of
the pasta.
a side of spaghetti. That was side splitting, and they did a timpano, which is they used a wash basin to put layers of different foods, livers, pasta, and things like that, and topped it off with a crust. And I remember I did one in the springform pan. It probably took me 3 days to make every little thing that went in it. So one of my favorites, but Timpano, I'm not pronouncing it right. It was Japanese, and it was more about making that perfect bowl of ramen. Since you both cook, you're both going to be asked my question that I use as we're wrapping up the interview. My question is to Amy first. What is or what was your most epic culinary fail?
Well, I had Thanksgiving every year, and I had Thanksgiving one year. And as you mentioned earlier, this year I was particularly heavy on hot peppers. So I was making mashed sweet potatoes, chipotle mashed sweet potatoes, and it called for one chipotle pepper. I put the whole can in, and like to blow you out, everyone was running away from the table. I said, "Where's everybody going?" And because you're the last one when you're serving everybody, you're the last one to eat. They had all started eating it, and like everyone was like leaving the table and running. I said, "Where are they going?" So it was better as like a condiment to dip the turkey in. It was crazy spicy.
And Jared.
I think all of my friends are having babies these days, and toddlers and stuff. And pre-pandemic, when they were all still coming over for dinner, I learned quickly from my very vocal young guests that they do not like chunky homemade skin-on applesauce. When they eat applesauce, they want smooth, skinless, very conventional. So I need to learn to cater to those young palates.
Okay. And I'm going to ask each one of you this question as we wrap up. Jared, we'll start with you. What didn't I ask you that I should have?
Well, you can ask about my latest favorite meal from Eddie's. I'll tell you, actually, Amy mentioned it this week. We have this vegan avocado chickpea sandwich that they tell me is only here until Saturday, but I really hope it makes an appearance more often. They do a made-in-house maple sriracha mayo, and it's a perfect mix of sweet, savory, and a really nice texture. It's a delicious sandwich. So that's my favorite meal right now.
And Amy, think about that because I have a question. Karen Wingard Barrack, my family loves Eddie's crab cakes. Can you order them with the Easter box? And then also she says, I love your Instagram pics, especially the rolls.
Yeah, she can order the Easter box and then the 4-pack of crab cakes.
Absolutely. And we also ship them anywhere. So if she has a friend out of state that wants to celebrate an Eddie style Easter along with her, we do overnight shipping of our crab cakes. Almost every day we have a shipment going out.
Okay, I'm just making sure I'm not missing anyone's question. I'm not being rude to my guest. their questions. I thank you all for putting them there. So, Amy, what didn't I ask that I should have?
Well, you've asked everything, but I just really want to emphasize, the wine pairings with your catering orders. Our Roland Avenue store, Matt's terrific at pairing wines, and so is Robert. You could always ask Andrew Schaefer, our resident wine aficionado. He's terrific with wine pairing. So you could just call us, ask us what you should pair it, and it really makes the meal, makes your dinner more of an event. So.
And I have to salute Jared for getting a great backdrop. I can't see it. I tried to put in
this little
some fresh
halo of
flowers
behind me.
Yeah, your halo, as Amy called it earlier, I think. So, everyone, just to refresh, Eddie's a RolandPark.com. Eddie's a Roland Park for social media. Check out their Instagram. Look at the pictures. You'll drool. The food looks so good. And don't hesitate. Stop in the store. The shelves, everything just looks so beautiful. And you're really equipped for gifts. I mean, if somebody wanted an Easter basket delivered to a family, they can order that from you and you'll deliver it.
That's
Am I right?
Tons of local chocolates, local sweets galore. Absolutely. And I mentioned earlier that you can invite me to your Seder, but if you don't invite me, invite Eddie's to the Seder.
And don't forget your plague mask. This has all the plagues, so you're ready for your Passover Seder.
Only you, Amy.
Like your plague crib sheet for the Seder.
I thank you both. The best of the holiday season to you and to our guests. And thank you. And I'm going to just sort of wrap up here. We'll see if Jen, the technician, is listening, our producer. And yeah, I'm seeing you, Faye. There we go. Hi, everyone. So next week, our guest is going to be Chef Cyrus Kiefer. I call him Chef Extraordinaire, one of the most creative minds when it comes to culinary foods in the DMV region. And we'll talk what's new at the Red Star and his Italian cuisine that he's offering there. And Cyrus has been featured on Star Chefs, and other accolades have come to him over the years. So tune in next week to meet Chef Cyrus Kiefer. Meanwhile, he's an insane singer. He had a scholarship to college for his voice, so we'll see if we can get him to sing something. You can find this video. It'll automatically be up on the Facebook page, and then on JMOR's Facebook page, then on jmoreliving.com and YouTube within the next couple hours. It'll be up there for perpetuity. You can reach me via email at food@jmoreliving.com. And my social is at Dara Cook, so you can follow my Instagram. I don't do much on Twitter, but I do have Twitter, and you'll find me on Facebook. Support your local restaurants. Here in Baltimore, Baltimore City Dining is opening up even a little bit more, so they can do 50% indoors, and I think it's 75% outdoors. Wear your mask. If you can get the vaccine, get the vaccine. Be kind to people. Stay safe. May your plates always remain full. I'm Dara Bunjon. I'm the Food Enthusiast. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week.